It's the GOAT's last ride. It's Messi and company's one last chance at glory. Third ranked team in the world have qualified through being the runners up in CONMEBOL. They're in their 18th finals appearance. They're a team that gets in there often, and they have won it twice already, looking for number three. Lionel Scaloni is going to take control of this Argentinian side that has already won the 2021 Copa America and the UEFA CONMEBOL Championship game, which is very much needed, as well as the 2018-19 Pan American. So the team knows how to win. They've got a great little young squad, and they're ready to go take it to this World Cup.
Yes, they are.
But my question for you:
Yeah,
how they've been doing over the last 5 games?
it's a great question.
Naturally, I only ask great questions.
It's a unique question. I don't think we've heard that one yet.
Not once.
Um, Argentina has been thriving to say the least. Last 5 games have included a 1-1 draw to Ecuador, a 3-0 win against Italy, 5-0 win against Estonia, 3-0 win against Honduras, and a 3-0 win against Jamaica. Competition level isn't the highest. Got Ecuador ranked 44, Italy 6, Estonia 109,
Oof.
Honduras 80, and Jamaica 64. But they're getting the job done against the teams they need to get the job done. Some teams cannot say the same. And Argentina is not one of those teams. I mean, they're beating these teams pretty easily too, like 3-0 minimum outside of the 1-1 against
Right.
Ecuador.
Yeah, this team they've got a clear attacking identity, which isn't hard when you've got somebody like Leo Messi on the wing. Um, they've got everybody who is, in 2014 and 2018, they had a mix of players who were either too young to get the job done or not consistent enough. Gonzalo Higuain, we're looking at you. But now it seems like everybody has gone up to that level and are all playing together at a very, very high cohesive level, and it's going to be they're going to be a fun team to watch. I think that's for sure. Speaking of Leo Messi, let's talk about some key players for this side. Do we really need to talk about him? What more do you need to know other than he is the greatest player of all
Yeah,
time?
I don't think you really need to add too much onto that one. He's a very obvious top player to say the least.
Yeah. The one thing I will say again, I'll reiterate, it is his last chance. There's no World Cup after this for him. He's not coming to America. I mean, he'll be in America probably at that point, but he's not coming to play. So, um, I think you see another level of him trying to work his hardest to get that trophy.
I mean, he should work his hardest regardless of whether it's his last.
Sure, but there's always that special little bit about it being the last one ever.
I think more so it might inspire the other guys to play a little bit harder.
I'd agree.
All right, so I guess I'll jump in here. Top player for me, I imagine he's probably on your list as well as Lautaro Martinez for Inter Milan. He is most likely going to be the striker partner with Leo Messi.
Misai.
Messi. Sorry, let me get it right. This is a
How dare
professional
you?
podcast after all. Martinez has put up a 7.24 rating so far for Milan. 6 goals, 2 assists, and 12 appearances on the international stage. In World Cup qualifying in 14 games, got 7 goals, 3 assists. And in Copa America, 6 games, 3 goals, 0 assists. So pretty solid all the way around. If Messi's going to be getting a lot of the attention, it's going to leave Martinez in some more space. And if you do that, you're going to be in so much trouble. I mean, he's going to make you pay 100%. He is a top striker in the world, and he and Messi up top are going to be an absolute handful for any defense in this entire tournament. So I wish the teams in Group C the best of luck.
That's exactly what I said. I go, him and Messi are going to link up and create just chance after chance after chance. It won't be fair.
Yeah.
So, you know me. I love a good goalkeeper.
Me too.
And I have to highlight Emi Martinez, the other Martinez in the group, one of like 6, which is going to be fun for when we pick our teams again. I think it must be a requirement for everybody outside of the United States to have like four players with the same name, all of them at starting caliber, just to mess with us.
How do we get that on the US is the question. I think we had it for a little bit with Acosta. There was a point in time where I feel like there was a chance we could have done it. It was like Kellen Acosta, Danilo Acosta.
That's right.
I
Brian
think there
Acosta
was
was in there, maybe
yeah, I
at
think there
some point. He might have
was
been the youth system.
there might have been, I feel like there was more Acostas as well. But I feel that's probably our best shot, unless you get like a bunch of Smiths that come like through
I would say
the
Smith or
pipes.
Jones or something
Yeah.
like that. But anyways, to continue on, every World Cup that I can remember, I mean, that goes all the way back to 2010. The big thing with the Argentinian sides were, will their goalkeepers hold up? It was always Romero, um, was always the front guy, and then there were a few others that kind of would come and go. Um, but that was always like when you talked about their quote unquote weak point, and that's not to say their goalkeepers were weak in any sense. But when you talk about what their weak point was going into any tournament, it was always the goalkeeper spot. At this point, I don't think that you can say that. I think Martinez has done more than enough to get himself involved. Armani was the other one. Armani and Rulli were the other two that I was thinking of. I couldn't think of their names that were in that pool for a while. But Martinez has become the pure and out number one, um, formerly at Arsenal, now at Aston Villa, with players like Lewandowski and I got to think of the other good attacker here. Hold on one sec.
Swiderski, obviously.
Al Burakan and Swiderski. And I would say somebody from Mexico, but they have nobody, so it's okay. Um, right. Well, when you go up against teams like that with strikers who are world class, truly, um, your goalkeeper needs to be ready to make one big save a game. Romero was able to pull that out in 2014, and that's why they were as successful as they were. When he didn't in 2018, or they didn't do as well. So it's going to be a big focus point, I believe, for this Argentinian side's success is going to fall on his shoulders, and I think he's up for it personally.
Yeah, I think he is too. It's the first time since I've been following the World Cup where, I mean, it hasn't been very long. I've only been following it for
I
a
bet
couple
say
World
what
Cups.
what this is your first World Cup.
No, since 2014 at least for me, but it's the first time where I feel like their goalkeeper spot isn't, like you said, like their weakest point.
Right.
Again, not to say that it was weak, but Emi Martinez feels like an upgrade from what they previously had, and that I feel like that makes them a really scary team because I feel like everywhere else on the field they've been just as good as they have previously. So
Yeah.
that's scary.
Yeah. Um. So to predict their 11, we'll put Martinez one in goal. Um. In my back four, so I've got him in a 4-3-3. I should clarify. Um. In the back four, I've got them going. Sorry, I just got to fix something real quick. There we go. I've got them going right to left. Montiel, Romero, Martinez two. That'd be the Man United Martinez for anybody wondering, and Acuna. In the middle three, I've got DePaul, Paredes, and Lo Celso. And then up front, I've got Messi, Martinez, and Correa, with Julian Alvarez coming off the bench.
Yeah, it's crazy that Julian Alvarez is coming off the bench. It
Right.
just feels like Man City, but in a national team.
It really does, doesn't it?
um, for the most part, I've got the same team. I've got a different shape though. I went 4-4-2. Um, I have so I
Just go goalkeeper through. Go goalkeeper through.
all right. I've got Emi Martinez in goal. Right to left in the back line, I've got Montiel, Romero. This one I want to specify. I did have Lissandro Martinez, but from what it looked like, they consistently play Otamendi. So I have Otamendi in there, considering I think that's what they are going to play. I would go Lissandro Martinez as well. personally. Left back, I went Tagliafico.
Not a
Uh,
bad shout.
I think you could go either way with him or Acuna, and you really can't go wrong. Midfield four for me from right to left. I've got Di Maria on the right, um, Paredes and DePaul in the middle, and then I have Lo Celso on the left. And
Okay.
then up top, I have Martinez and Messi.
Sure. Yeah, I figured Messi would play more of a winger role until
He
they
probably could.
needed
Yeah.
like to get other players on the field. Again, the danger with this team is not only can they go deep, they can play tons of different shapes, and the players know how to fill them. Uh,
Yeah, it's crazy. You could drop Messi a little bit deeper. You could swap Di Maria out in my lineup and put in Correa and play him up top. You could play Julian Alvarez up top. It they've got options.
yeah. Um, so here's my one question. This team on paper feels, and like we've been talking about, feels like it's got everything it needs to win it all. In your opinion, what is the what is the part of their team that will prevent them from winning this tournament?
I'm gonna say the back line. I think it's definitely solid. I mean, I would say more than solid. I think they'll be an above average back line in the tournament. I think this team is super strong. I really don't see like anything I would consider to be a weak point. But if they do end up starting Otamendi, I think that's a point of attack that teams might target, considering he's a bit older now, probably not as, physically strong as he used to be, probably not as quick. Um, I think that's the point where you could probably break through this team because I think in the midfield they're super solid. I think in the attack that's their best part. I think they're super explosive in the attack. So I kind of just have to go with defense here. I still think their defense is very good, and I don't see them having too many problems. But based on this question, if I have to pick something, that's where I would point my finger at.
Sure, and I think this is more for out of the group stage. If I'm not
Yeah,
spoiling predictions, but I can't imagine either of us put them below two.
that would be
Um,
crazy.
um, but yeah, for me, same idea. It's defense, but it's more team defense. I feel like a lot of players in this group are pure out and out attackers, and once they lose the ball, it'll be like they used to have a Mascherano and then Otamendi and a young Otamendi and a full back line of players who could sit in and get stuck in. Now there are so many like attacking or closer to 10 than 6 players that I'll be interested to see if they're, pushing. Do they just give up on the defense and let the counterattack happen? That'd be my focus for them.
I'm looking something up really quick before we move on to the next segment. I am curious about the height of this team. I feel like that could be another weakness area for them, considering if they do end up starting, like let's say Romero and Lissandro Martinez at center back, that's not going to be very tall, especially if you play Acuna as well, who's 5'8", at least according to ESPN. I don't know if that's super accurate. Um, and then Montiel as well, who's 5'10". You're looking at one guy in that back line that's over 6 foot, and that's Romero at 6'1". So I feel like set pieces could potentially be a weak point for them, considering they're not the biggest team.
That is a really really interesting note. I never noticed that.
Yeah, I was just
Sandro
thinking about that
Martinez is
because
tiny.
yeah, that's the meme everybody's talking about in the Prem is just like how small he is. But if he can do a job, then it doesn't really matter. But
Man, throw that guy at the 6 and then put somebody else back there.
you would think, right? Like I think he would make a perfect six.
Oh well.
I mean, maybe that's what they'll do. Maybe they'll play Otamendi. They'll move him up. I don't know. Like we said, they got options. They can move things around.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.